Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another amazing episode of Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network and betonline.ag for all your sports betting needs. This is your boy Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, and today I'm joined with...
Me first.
Do it.
Ryan Saber, Captain Cleveland. We haven't done the intros in a while. Ryan Saber, Captain Cleveland. Browns, Cavs, Guardians, CLE till I die.
All right. And Rihanna Sullivan, SD Riri, San Diego-based free agent for any team that anyone wants me to root for. So let's do it.
We'll get you for the Eagles there. Bird gang, baby. So we are going to be talking about, before we get into it, though, we have to give some shout outs to Rihanna over here. Worldwide celebrity now. You know, she's been on season 2 of Wall Street.
Yes.
Big ups to Harry, Archie, Mark, the whole entire crew. I just got to know, like, how did that feel, like, to see yourself on an HBO show? Like, we're not talking, like, some commercial here or anything else, because I know I'm watching it and Saba's watching, and we're like, that's our girl.
It's my girl.
That's awesome.
Courtney looks at me. She goes, Courtney looks at me. She goes, what the fuck you mean that's your girl? I'm like, that's my
girl. You're like, wait. I didn't mean it like that. It's mortifying, actually, because I don't like to see myself on camera. So when I saw myself, I was like, oh no. But like I mentioned to you guys earlier, like the fact that like I got to go to Italy and tour the shoe factories for like our upcoming shoe launch, and all of the footage that I filmed on my iPhone in like these tiny little towns in Italy, like made it on the show, is like by far the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. I was like, I shot that. So I didn't care about seeing myself on the screen, but like, it's fine. And obviously, like, Harry's the fucking man. So sorry.
Of course.
No, you can say that. Harry is the fucking man.
He is the fucking man.
It's good to see you on there, though, too. On top of that, and then you're repping. This is one of the new ones coming out, right?
Yeah, this is like one of the new women's hoodies. So it's like it's very similar to the men's, but it's kind of
a little different. Oh, it's at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, at the bottom, there's no like hoodie pockets. So it's not cropped because I don't wear cropped tops, but it's just like a little bit shorter and there's no hoodie pocket, but it's super comfy. It's available now.
We are happy to have you. We love Harry, love the municipal brand. Thank you, Rihanna, for being on the show. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And we're excited to drop this. Rihanna joined us last year when we were doing our Nerdies episode, our pop culture awards per se. But this year we wanted to bring her on for we already did the movie preview. It was myself, Saba, and my daughter on that. We tried to do one for video games. I think we're going to do one for comics eventually, but this one is going to be our 2023 streaming preview episode. So we're going to be talking about shows that are on now, shows coming out the end of the year. Yeah. On all the streaming platforms, and the ones we're excited about, and really just kind of have a round robin conversation on what we're looking forward to and what we are super excited about. Now, BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season, everything from pro and college basketball to UFC, MMA, and more. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. With live betting options, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. BetOnline is truly the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BELIEVE, that's spelled BLEAV, to receive your rewards. We truly get started on it. I have to say, because we're in the middle of this show right now, The Last of Us, absolutely fantastic, mind-blowing television on HBO. I as much as I enjoyed House of the Dragon last year, and we can get into that a little bit, as far as stuff that we enjoyed last year. I got to say, I feel like this is going to be their next Game of Thrones, just because it does divert from the video game enough for people to respect the property and enjoy it. And then, of course, you have the Game of Thrones alumni between Pedro Pascal and then Bella Ramsey on top of that. And Their characters are fantastic. The storyline is great. We're only 4 episodes in right now, and I gotta say it is just incredible television. So even if you've never played the video game, which I am now at the point in the game where they are at in the show. So I was very late to the game, period, because I didn't have a PlayStation 4, didn't even have a PlayStation 3. I just got a PlayStation 5. So I'm playing all of this right now. So I'm at the point in the game where they are at in the show. And I thought that I would have to catch up and really, play the game to respect the television show. But I feel like they have done enough to where fans of the game will appreciate it. But they've also done enough to where if you've never played the game, you're going to enjoy it. So that's just my number one so far this year. It's going to be super hard to beat The Last of Us. So I don't know. I know, Saba, you're probably not watching it. Rihanna, I don't know if that's your cup of tea. I just got to say it is a phenomenal show on HBO.
I'll watch it because I played the game. So I played The Last of Us part, the original. Mm-hmm. I didn't play. They did like The Last of Us Part 2 that came out. I'll get that eventually when I hook up my PlayStation 5. It's still sitting in the box upstairs. I haven't decided when to take it out yet, but I'll definitely watch it. I mean, the game's fucking scary. So,
yeah.
And I've heard the show, has some intense moments, but like I kind of know what to expect with the clickers and all that. Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, I'll watch it and, fuck Pedro Pascal. Love him. Yeah,
love him immensely.
He's phenomenal. And, he's getting a much stronger social media presence from The Mandalorian and now from this, and like just his whole vibe and his personality and interviews. Like I love him. He's great. So yeah, I'll certainly watch it, but it's definitely not in my wheelhouse because I do not like to be scared. So I don't know if we've ever talked about that on the show before, but
never mentioned one time ever.
I do not like it, but I will make an exception for that because I'm such a fan of the property.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've heard from like numerous friends that it's like so good. I just moved and I live by myself now. So I talked to my girlfriend and she was like, maybe you don't watch it at night right before you go to bed. That was like her only like advice. And so generally for the most part, like I watch TV like at night, because I'm working all day or whatever. So I want to watch it like in the daytime. So that if I do get scared, I'm not like laying in my bed being like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me?
Like I do when I watch exactly. Jurassic Park.
Playing the game. Like
Jurassic Park, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. No, unfortunately he's not kidding you. But like to me, playing the game, I only like playing it during the day.
Yeah.
It gives me so much anxiety before I go to bed. It's absurd. Like I had to put it on easy mode. I'll go ahead and admit it. I had to put it on easy mode because A, it's been tremendously difficult. And then B, it's just one of those things where like for my anxiety, I had to calm down. So,
yeah.
As far as it's not so much a preview because it is out right now, but if you are not watching The Last of Us on HBO. So Ree, what are you looking forward to this year in terms of the streaming platforms?
Well, obviously, like we did the Ted Lasso podcast and I love Ted Lasso. So season 3, our series finale is coming and I cannot wait. I can't wait to get more of Ted and the team and see what happens with Nate. Like
that little son of a bitch.
Wait a minute.
Right?
It's supposed to be the series finale.
It's what they're saying. It's
I did not know that.
It's foggy, right?
Yeah.
Like they had always intended. So him and whatever Coach Beard's name in real life is.
Yeah.
They created the show, Jason Sudeikis and him. And when they started, they had intended it on being a 3-season arc.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. All right.
But there's also been like word on the street that they potentially might have like season, but it's like not the same like story arc. So it might be like
a spinoff or something.
2.0 or something like that. Like something that's like not within that like 3-season story arc. So anyways, Ted Lasso is like top of my list for sure.
All right.
Okay. I have a whole nother list. So we got lots of stuff.
Okay.
We'll go around, I guess.
Robin.
Yeah.
What do you got?
My list, shockingly, I don't think anybody in the crowd or on this panel will be surprised, is comprised pretty much of Disney Plus shows. we talked about Mandalorian season 3 already, so we kind of mentioned it, so I'll breeze past that, but certainly looking forward to it. The one thing I'll say is, I talked about Andor. We've talked about Mandalorian and what Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau are doing with the Disney Plus shows. I would say that Boba Fett was kind of a miss for me last year, but the best parts of the book of Boba Fett were the Mandalorian episodes, right? So certainly looking forward to that. But the other Star Wars show that I'm really looking forward to is Ahsoka, the Ahsoka Tano. Rosario Dawson's character. She made an appearance, a live action appearance in season 1 of The Mandalorian. She is, for those that don't know out there, she wields 2 lightsabers. She's a fucking badass, and she is Anakin Skywalker's Padawan. So the actual character makes its debut in the animated series, the Clone Wars. But Rosario Dawson is awesome in that. It's TBD, so we don't know when it's coming, but I have a feeling that is going to be an amazing show. And look, I mean, we're on a run now, finally, or sort of a historic run of just badass lead women characters. And, I'm looking forward to having that again because number 1, Rosario Dawson's great. Number 2, she looks like the character is supposed to look. And number 3, she's got this machine behind her right now in the Star Wars universe that's just absolutely on fire. Plus some nostalgia from the Anakin Skywalker character that I think is really going to take this show to the next level. So super pumped. That's probably I think there's 2 or 3 Disney shows coming this year. Mandalorian. There's another one. I think there's even an animated something or another coming. But the Ahsoka show is the one that I'm looking forward to probably the most.
Love it. I mean, that's definitely on my list as well. I've been a big fan of Rosario Dawson, and I'm going to date myself here. I remember when she made her first appearance on the movie Kids.
Yeah, Kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's like one of the few that made it out of that movie. Like,
shit, bro.
If you look back, it's,
her and Chloe Sevigny. I mean, that's like it.
That's it. Casper doesn't have a great backstory. R.I.P.
They're all dead.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you've not seen Kids, I'm not going to say go rush out and see Kids, but it was one of those things at the time to where
it's heavy. It's heavy.
And I mean, for us, heavy was like, going to Blockbuster and seeing a cover, and we were renting a movie off that cover. And that's what it was for Kids. It's like, skateboard kids in New York City. And that was my first introduction to Rosario Dawson, and her career is just obviously she's flourished since then. So just to kind of backtrack a little bit, Mandalorian season 3 coming out March 1st.
March 1st.
Definitely can't wait for that. I mean, there's not enough to be said. I mean, Pedro, Baby Yoda, they're back together. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say.
And he's got the fucking dark saber now, dude.
Yeah. So, who knows where this goes? But all I got to say is it's been tremendous television since this series started. Hip-hop legend Chuck D brings together the most iconic and pioneering figures in the game to unpack the history and impact of this art form on American and global culture over the last 50 years. Don't miss Fight the Power, How Hip-Hop Changed the World on PBS and now streaming on the PBS app. One show I'm really excited about, and I've been seeing previews for, is Shrinking. Season 1 coming out on Apple Plus with not Jason Sudeikis. It's
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel with Harrison Ford, where he's a shrink, but he ends up, as far as storyline that I've seen, goes through like a crisis and then just ends up shooting all his patients straight. Pretty much just being like, hey, your husband's a piece of shit. You need to leave your husband. Like no longer walking on eggshells and just being one of those straight to the point therapists. And, for people like us that suffer from, mental depression, anxiety or whatever, that's what we like hearing in the first place. So to me, I think this is going to be one of my wild cards this year, but I also expect this to be a really good show because I think the cast looks great. And I'd love to see the perspective of someone like that, just literally just telling all their patients, hey, I'm not just going to sugarcoat this for you, like what you pay me for. This is what you need to do in your real life. You need to quit your job. You need to quit, you need to divorce this guy, this, that, and the other. So I see you guys kind of shaking your head a little bit. I see a little bit of excitement here. I'd love to get some feedback on this.
So my best friend is like huge, like she's pop culture nut. And so she was like, Shrinking will be the new series that connects with the Ted Lasso fans in terms of like that same, like delving into like the reality of life and like taking it head on, and also like just being real with each other about everything that's happening. You know what I mean? So she's like super pumped about it. I'd never heard about it before till she told me about it last weekend. And I was like, I'm in, because I would love someone to just be like, this is a shitty situation, get yourself out of it, instead of me being like, is this okay? And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think from what I read about it today, it looks great. I think in general, I'll just make this statement. I think Apple TV is about to have a fucking monster year. Agreed. Because I was going down the lists like in Variety and Time and all that, like the new shows to watch this year. And it would be like Apple TV, Apple TV, Apple TV. Like they've got a lot coming, and their marketing, like the Timothy Chalamet thing, that commercial on the heels of what they did with John Hamm last year is yes. I fucking love it. And it's like, I'm not commercial guy, but when that comes on, like I watch it because number one, who doesn't love Timothy Chalamet? Who doesn't love John Hamm? But just like the idea of like, why don't I have a documentary? Like why, like call me, like Apple TV, like it's just great. And I think Apple's really set to explode. Netflix is hurting right now, right? Like I think Hulu's got its place, its niche, but it's more like live TV. They do their own stuff. It's more like live TV that they're showing the episodes the next day. Disney's got its niche with its own like original content. Like I think Apple TV can take that space that Netflix held for many years with like just across the board good television, movies. I feel like Apple's gonna make a move this year on Netflix. I really do.
I couldn't agree.
Yeah, and I also feel like Apple, at the end of the day, is gonna outmarket Netflix. So even if Netflix like has good shit coming, they're never gonna be able to outmarket Apple. Like Apple has proven over the course of like probably all our lives that like they know how to do marketing. And no people doubt. Are going to listen to that. Not unfortunately, like listen to marketing. It's great. But you know what I mean? Like it's just like
right.
Netflix is at a disadvantage when it comes to Apple and they're like marketing how they reach their consumer in a way that is like authentically who they are and makes people want to watch their stuff.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Bring significant other home on digital. Micah Monroe and Jake Lacy star in this twisted sci-fi thriller as a young couple on a remote hiking trip who sense they may not be alone. Significant Other is on digital now, rated R from Paramount Pictures. And that's the thing. It's like, we know that Netflix has all these big name actors too that are attached to contracts, but for them, I really feel like it's quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Where Apple, it's more quality over quantity.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's the thing is we're just getting saturated with all this shit. Now, I will say I'm very excited for the new Chris Hemsworth movie, the
Extraction Part 2.
Extraction Part 2. That's probably the one I'm most excited about because Extraction Part 1 kind of caught me off guard. Yeah. I thought that movie kicked ass.
It was great.
Like, compared to all these other ones, I have The Rock and have all these other actors in it, but I digress. So I know I'm shrinking. And then so what's next out there?
I'll do you going or is it me?
You could go. I'll go next.
I'm gonna do one of my non-Disney Plus picks here. There is a show and it's TBD. Mm-hmm. So we don't know when this year it's coming, but it is coming to Prime Video. Shout out to Amazon. Let's give them a little love as well. It is called Citadel. It is by the Russo brothers, so it's still Cleveland's own Joe and Anthony Russo. Gotta love them. But it's got Richard Madden in it. So for those of you that don't know Richard Madden, he played Robb Stark in Game of Thrones. He played Icarus in The Eternals. He played a fantastic character in a show on Netflix called Bodyguard. If you haven't seen that, watch it. It is fucking phenomenal. But there wasn't a lot of information on it. It's just sort of this spy thriller with Richard Madden that's written by the Russo brothers. The Russos are phenomenal, and everybody knows they did Captain America 2, Captain America. My mind's going blank, Brian. Captain America, Winter Soldier. They did Infinity War. They did Endgame, and they've done some other stuff since then with Tom Holland. They did the movie last year that came out on Netflix with Chris Evans as the bad hitman and Ryan Gosling is the good one.
What was the name of it? I watched it. I loved it.
The Gray Man.
Yes.
They did that.
So
yeah, very good, right? So I'm looking forward to that one. It's called Citadel, Prime Video, TBD. So we'll see. But that is a huge wild card for me, and one that I think is going to be a smash.
Got it. Riri, what you got? What you got coming up?
So this is totally my wild card, and I'm hoping that it's fucking phenomenal. Daisy Jones and the Six is coming.
Read about it. Looks good.
Oh my God. So I read the book and I loved the book. Like I loved it so much. And so when I found out that this was coming streaming, I was like,
is that Apple too?
Hold on. I'm looking it up right now. I think it,
I'll look it up. You talk about it.
Yeah. But anyway, so like the book was phenomenal. I read it in like 2 days. I loved the character. I loved everything about it. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, it's now being brought to like a series that we can stream online. And it launches March 6th.
It's Amazon.
Yeah. So March 3rd is when it launches. So I'm super excited about it because first of all, like music is one of my most like favorite things. Like I'm super passionate about it. So I'm really excited to hear like what the soundtrack is going to be.
Right.
Just as much as I'm excited to like see like the cinematography and like bringing this book to life. So
I saw some like some images from it, like pictures, and it almost like maybe has like an Almost Famous vibe to it.
Oh,
like
totally.
Yeah.
It's set in the 70s. Riley, I can't pronounce words a lot of the time, so you guys are just gonna help me out.
It's okay. We'll just call her Riley.
Riley Keough, Lisa Marie Presley's daughter. She's the one that's like she's Daisy in it.
Okay.
And I don't know. I love the book so much. I have like such high hopes for the series, and I hope it doesn't let me down. But if the series sucks, I just hope they have a good soundtrack at the end of the day.
Hey, soundtracks will. To me, it'll
save a movie.
Exactly.
Change everything.
Exactly. The movie could be the biggest piece of trash on the planet. If you have a great soundtrack, it'll definitely save you at least a little bit in my book.
Yeah. And Almost Famous is like one of my all-time favorite movies. So if this is anything like Almost Famous, like I'm going to be happy March 3rd.
It just has that vibe, right? It's like this up and coming sort of band, right? Just very Almost Famous. That was the vibe I got when I was reading about it earlier today, and I saw some of the pictures. So yeah. I mean, if anybody who loves Almost Famous, this sounds like it's up your alley. 70s music, the whole 60s and 70s music, right? Whole nine, yeah.
And if you like to read the book, because the book was really good.
There you go. I'm just going to kind of rattle off my final ones here. One that I'm super looking forward to, a lot of people may not know about. Party Down season 3 is coming out this year.
What's the gap, Brian, between when
10 years?
10
years
since
the last one. So, apparently it's going to be back on Stars, set to debut on February 24th. Adam Scott's back in, Ken Marino, Jane Lynch. She left after season 1 to go do Glee. Just one of those shows that you go into with like, I don't want to say low expectations, but it's just, well written. It's funny. It's articulate. It's got a lot of just like witty banter left and right. And I just really enjoyed it for the 2 seasons that we had it on Stars to begin with. So Party Down is definitely one of my, I guess you could say, surprises that I'm excited about. You know, again, 10 years in the making right now. The Bear, I know we touched on it, season 2 on Hulu. This show, I got to applaud my daughter for getting me into. I don't know why it took her to get me into it, but old boy from
Shameless.
I can't think of his name, but outstanding. This show literally gave me bartending and just service industry like PTSD. Like I felt like I was in the weeds with him the entire time. And it is, if you've ever worked in the service industry, you need to watch the show. And if you've never worked in the service industry, you need to watch the show because the shit is crazy and it's ridiculously accurate. The portrayals are great. John Berthal plays his brother and he's only in there for a little bit of the show, but his scenes are powerful. And it's just, you know, it's based, and I love shows that, you know, it's like, oh, well, we're based in Chicago, but we're filming in Vancouver. Like this thing is based in Chicago. It's filmed in Chicago. It's about Chicago. I'm a big fan of anything that's actually based and filmed where they're at. You know, Sabe and I, we talk about how to make it in America all the time. You know, again, a great show based and filmed in New York City. So Hulu, The Bear, season 2, please be sure to watch it. And then last but definitely not least, I wanted to divert from Sabe on the Disney Plus tip. And this is TBD, The Penguin, based on the Penguin character from the Batman movie coming out on HBO.
Is Colin Farrell in it? Is he doing it?
Colin Farrell. It's supposed to be Colin Farrell. So we'll see. You know, we just had an episode the other day on the whole DC change up with you know, our boys coming over to the side as far as, you know, what they're going to be doing. I'm interested to see. I don't think it's going to come out this year. It is TBD, and if it does come out, it's going to be end of the year. But it's supposed to be Colin Farrell, based on his character from the Batman movie, which is still, to me, one of the best films of last year. And we'll get into that when we do our Nerdies episode. So that's my quick run off as far as just last things I'm interested in.
I got a couple more. Ree, why don't you go first?
I was like, I got a couple more.
You go first. You go first.
Ladies first.
So, and I don't know if you guys watched this, but did you Yellow Jackets? Basically like Lord of the Flies, but for a woman, like a girls soccer team. It was so good. It's coming back. I'm super pumped because I want to see what happens with these like feral children.
Yeah.
Trapped in the woods. Right.
I'm glad you said that. I'm really glad. And just real quick, if you've not watched Yellow Jackets and you've read Lord of the Flies, it's like, what are these people doing 20 years later after all these events of Lord of the Flies happens?
Yeah.
What's it on? What's it on?
It is on Showtime.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can watch it on Showtime.
It's
fantastic cast, so good.
Oh my gosh. The actresses are so amazing. The plot is so good. You're on the seat, like on the edge of your seat the entire time. Mm-hmm. And it's Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, but 20 years later, because I mean, we all know, you know, for anyone that's either watched or read Lord of the Flies, like what is going to be mentally wrong with all these people 20 years down the road? And that's what Yellow Jackets is. It. Yeah. But you know, set in the 90s as far as the plane crash to today.
Yeah. But it's super good. So anyways, Yellow Jackets was on my list. And then also, did you guys watch Minx?
Is that the one?
It's about the Playboy,
with Jake Johnson?
Jake Johnson, porn, Playboy type.
Oh, yeah.
I remember you talking about this on one of our episodes.
So I found it, I loved it. Like the first season, it was so great. And HBO, so they were filming the second season and HBO dropped it at the last minute. They're like, we're not going to move forward with the second season. Stars picked it up. So second season will now be playing on Stars. If you're into like Playboy, Hollywood, hustler type shit, it's fun.
I mean,
there's also like a lot of
life.
naked there's also like a lot of naked chicks. So like if you're cool with that,
oh god, no.
Sounds like Tuesday to me. I don't know. I mean,
but anyways, it's really good, and I like love Jake Johnson. Like obviously, like New Girls and like all the stuff he's done outside of New Girls. Like I just as a character actor. I think he's fantastic. So
Yeah, he's great.
yeah. So anyways, those are my two, like, slide those in to your recommendations for the year.
All right, so I'm going to wrap up, and we haven't talked about any Marvel shows, so thank God for that. But guess who is going to talk about Marvel shows? We get 5 this year, and I'm not going to talk about all 5. I'm going to talk. Look, number one, first and foremost, Loki. We get Loki season 2 in the summer on Disney Plus. Obviously, all these are on Disney Plus. Loki, in my opinion, has been the best Marvel TV show so far. Super pumped for what we're gonna get. That this is gonna be This is gonna be the first property post Kang, post the Kang introduction in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So we're gonna get some idea of what's gonna happen there. This is when it's really gonna start to take off. You're gonna get it in Ant-Man and Wasp, and then I think Loki's gonna continue that trajectory. So super pumped about that. Ironheart. Of the ones that I think are lesser known, Ironheart, Echo, and Agatha, Rise of the Coven. Ironheart's the one I'm looking forward to the most. For those of you that don't know, Riri Williams plays Ironheart. If you go watch Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, she made her introduction in that. That's coming out in the fall. We're getting Anthony Ramos in the MCU. He was in The Heights, right? The Heights was the musical. He was in A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga. He played her friend, and he's part of Municipal.
Yeah.
He wears all our shit all the time.
Yeah.
Love
So
it.
he's going to play a character, the Hood. So just really pumped because Riri Williams is kind of taking on that Iron Man, the Tony Stark genius scientist role. So super pumped about that. And then the show that I'm probably the most looking forward to of the Marvel, even though Loki, but like the one that is new, Secret Invasion, TBD. We haven't seen Nick Fury in a while, right? Well, last time we saw Nick Fury post-credit scene to one of the Spider-Man movies, I can't remember which one. He's in space. Who knows how long he's been in space? Sort of a spy thriller, espionage with the Skrulls. Like, who's real, who isn't? You got Emilia Clarke. Love Emilia Clarke. She's coming in. Kobe Smulders, Agent Dark Hair. Maria Hill. Yeah. You got Agent Maria Hill. You got Martin Freeman, who plays the CIA FBI agent from the Black Panther movies. Don Cheadle's rumored to make an appearance, so we're gonna get some War Machine in this, and then obviously Ben Mendelsohn, who plays like the King, the head scroll. Just super pumped for Secret Invasion. It's gonna be one of those shows where it's just like every week you're gonna be like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? Oh my god, that person's not real. Oh my god, what's going on? Like anything is capable, and quite frankly, we may see some with shapeshifters, impersonators, if you will. Who knows what we might see? We might see a Chris Evans, right? We might see something along those lines. So I'm just really, really excited for that. And we could not do a streaming or a television preview, or quite frankly, any sort of TV movie preview without me talking about my Marvel. So yes, there it is.
Appreciate it.
Love it. Dropping those bombs out there. Last but not least, I'm gonna throw one more in there, especially for our female audience. You season 4 Netflix coming out February 9th.
He's turned the leaf, right?
Wait, it's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
by the time this airs,
I had no idea, and thank you. I know exactly what I will be doing this weekend.
He's turned over a new leaf, and somebody's hunting him now, right?
Apparently, but now I think he's in London, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's not in the United States. It's not a show I've super kept up with. I know my fiance keeps up with it, but I know our female audience loves the hell out of it.
Everybody loves Joe.
Yeah.
I know, right? I'm like, why would I want to be stalked? But I'm like,
stalk me, Joe. Jesus.
Believe me, I hate this about myself, but here we are.
Hey, this is the world we live in right now.
Hey, you're not the only one. The thirst is real on Twitter and on all social media when a new season of You comes out. So,
no, it'll be all over the place, and that'll be another episode for another day. So thank you all for
you can include
for
me.
tuning in. Be sure to check out municipal.com for the dopest. Well, what is it? Sport utility gear, right?
Sport utility gear.
Sport utility gear. We don't just rock it, we represent it. I mean, this is probably the first time I've not worn municipal shit on a Zero Dark Nerdy podcast episode in a while. I'm just wearing like a basic ass cardigan right now. But be sure to check them out. Seriously. Amazing, amazing clothes. And of course, thank you to our good friends at the Believe Podcast Network and betonline.ag. On behalf of Rihanna, Captain Cleveland, and the rest of our ZDN crew, we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
Hey, it's Michelle Beadle. That's right, the Michelle Beadle. You're welcome. You love talking about sports. I love talking about sports. You know the only thing cooler than talking about sports? Sports! And right now, all your favorite sports are on Sirius XM. I'm talking every NFL game, every game from the NBA, NHL, MLB, every NASCAR race, golf major conference college sports, and all the top games in the WNBA. If it gets your heart pumping, it's on Sirius XM. To start your free trial of Sirius XM today, visit SiriusXM.com/believe.